I closed it up. Yeah. That door, and that was terrible. Oh, yeah, yeah, me and yeah, Roy was like, Roy, after practice, what is that, like, or his headphones, like, can I look across the front? He was like, no, like, that was great. Honestly, though, I don't mind crazy days, I don't mind usually work on the time. Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get the straightforward. It's like, might as well know.
Y'all need a white balance at all or anything? Are y'all good? Okay, great. We're good. Perfect. Thanks for coming here, guys. We will have Dr. Selwyn Ahosa, the new superintendent of schools for South San ISD, and following him, we'll have Deputy Commissioner of Government Steve Bushlow from TEA. I'll give the floor over to Dr. Hinojosa. He'll have an opening statement, and we'll open it up for questions.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for being here. I'm honored to be the new superintendent of schools for South San ISD. Today is the start of an exciting new era for South San ISD and the start of what will be a collective effort to make South San a school district that our community and our city can be proud of. I've been an educator for 31 years, and my career has primarily been on the south side of San Antonio. I understand the community, and I'm also part of this community. Most recently, I served 15 years as the superintendent of Somerset ISD, where we achieved an A rating. Our goal is to achieve the same here in South San, and I wholeheartedly believe that we will be able to replicate that success right here. Over the next few months, my goal is to meet with as many community members as possible to start developing a strategic plan which will serve as a roadmap on how our students will reach their highest potential. We will also be focusing on opportunities on how we can build capacity among our staff. I will be making myself available at monthly community meetings at campuses throughout the district in order for everyone to provide their voice. Lastly, I want to thank Superintendent Henry Aguirre for his leadership in providing stability and establishing a pathway of success for all students and staff to be successful. I really appreciate the work he has done. At this time, I will take any questions.
Víctor, ¿habla español? ¿Puede hablar español?
Sí lo puedo hablar, pero no lo hablo correcto.
Okay. So if that is the case, so how do you feel about, you know exactly what this was before becoming here. Do you feel a sense of, I don't know, what is the feeling that you have coming to something like this?
There's a sense of excitement. In Somerset, I came into a situation similar to what we have here at South San. And having the right people, we were able to achieve great things where we became an A district. So there's no doubt in my mind that we could change the mindset and duplicate what we did in Somerset here in South San. Otherwise, I would have never applied for this position.
So speaking of the people, meeting the right people to achieve this, get on the right track, those who will be on the board, can you speak to their abilities and what, how you will work with them to further South San?
Well, currently I just met with the cabinet meeting this morning, so I'm getting to learn people, learning their strengths, what areas we need to improve on. And I will be meeting with other employees individually. So as I learn more and more, we'll be able to make some decisions as far as what staff and what changes are necessary or what we continue doing of the same.
You said you have, are you talking district staff or members of the board managers?
No, district staff.
You decided to retire 2 years ago. Why take on another school district, especially one that looks like it might be a tough job?
I actually never retired. I left Somerset and I started consulting, but there was something missing. I just felt to have a calling and a passion where I can make a difference in school districts. Again, what we were able to do, of course, one person can't do it, at Somerset was truly amazing. And in my heart, I truly believe that we can do that here in South San. Again, otherwise I would have never applied for the position.
Technically, like a retirement from the system, but you keep on working. Is that what you do?
I served as a consultant and working with other school districts, but maybe not directly working with students. So
Yeah.
that part was missing. So again, I'm really excited to be back in the saddle to make a difference in students and staff's lives.
District is facing numerous challenges. What do you view as the biggest challenge as you come to office?
Well, right now, as we finish out the school year, I want to make sure that our students and teachers have all the support that they need in order to finish out the school year.
Well, that's a goal, but what are an actual challenge that's going on right now in the district that you're going to need to overcome? What do you view as the biggest obstacle at the moment?
Well, right now is day one, all right? So again, I'm just gathering data, talking to staff, gathering some reports in order to ascertain what our major challenges are and what we need to do in order to correct that.
How does working with a board manager differ from, board of trustees? How do you think that's going to be different? Where voters. This is a hand-picked board by the TPA, presumably going to be a little bit easier to get along with. So what are your thoughts on working with board managers versus trustees?
Well, again, I'm gonna say I'm a rookie to working with the Board of Managers because I've never done that before, but I'm excited to work in tandem with them to make sure that every decision we make is going to be in the best interest of our students and our staff.
You're gonna try to succeed in a place where at least 3 other very qualified, including Zaguirre, it looks like they failed. What is what you have to offer the residents of this school district?
Well, I think I offer hope. Again, if you see my track record and at Somerset ISD, it was a very similar situation when I first started. We had 3 F campuses, failing schools. It was it was a district somewhat in turmoil, and slowly but surely we were able to change the culture and to get it to where it was the last year that I was there, which was an A rating. 5 out of the 7 campuses were A's, and we had 24 distinctions. Again, I wholeheartedly believe that we are going to accomplish that here at South San ISD.
How are you going to build trust? I mean, these aren't appointed, right, these members. How are you going to build trust? Or they aren't voted?
Sure.
Sorry.
Well, we have to communicate and we have to know each other. We have to converse with each other. One of the things that I've found out in life through my experience, the more we communicate, the more trust that we can build. That's why my goal is to meet as many community members as possible. I'm going to make myself available monthly at different campuses throughout the district, and we're going to invite the community, and we're going to start having those conversations. And what can we do in order to make South San better? Develop a strategic plan, and I want to hear from everyone. Everybody can play a big part in the success of this district. One person can't do it alone. It takes business owners, faith leaders, it takes parents, everyone working together for the best interest of South San ISD.
And parents or people in the district aren't going to see, the differences between how board members and superintendent work together, or just staff is out there. They're going to notice, what goes on in their kid's school, et cetera. How are the members of the community going to see a difference with you and the board of managers coming in, as opposed to how things operated for, years?
Well, again, I mean, I can't speak from past boards. All I can tell you is that we're going to do every decision that we make is going to be in the best interest of students. Collaboratively, we're going to look at data. We're going to look where our strengths are, where areas we need to address. And then we're going to invite parents, and we're going to hear from them and tell us, what are areas that we need to focus on? What are areas they feel have been lacking? And we're going to meet those, through their voice, we're going to make sure that we make those changes head on.
Couple more?
What is your message to parents and staff and students who experience a lot of change in going up annual review and these earlier last few years?
I just want to say, hey, this is a new day, a new era, and together we're going to do some great things in the school district.
How long does it take to get South San back on track?
Well, again, I mean, that's a hard question to answer, but I do know, I mean, it did take some time at South San, but, I mean, at Somerset, again, through my experience, now we have a recipe of what success looks like, so I envision that we can accelerate that process.
Got one more, if anybody wants it. From your knowledge, how far behind was South San compared to where you're going to try to do now?
Right now, again, I'm just gathering information, just looking at data. As I gather that information, we'll be better able to ascertain where we are at this present day and time.
Dr. H, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we've got Deputy Commissioner of Governance Steve Leschlow from the Texas Education Agency. Open the floor for questions.
Only 2 of the appointed board of managers live inside the South San School District. That's a requirement to run for an elected school board. What's going to happen in a few years when you return to district local control? When the vision is like recover better candidates outside the school?
All of the candidates all of the board of managers members that we appointed have a deep connection to the south side of San Antonio. 5 of the 7 are alums of South San. The other 2 who are not alums live on the south side, work on the south side. And so we are confident that the 7 members that we appointed reflect the values of the community and are members of the south side community. The job of the Board of Managers is going to be to really recondition the community to what an exemplary board enacting best governance practices looks like, sounds like, and acts like. I am confident that the 7 members that we appointed are going to make this community proud and contribute to improved student outcomes in collaboration with Dr. Hinojosa.
But what about in a few years? Like 5 other people won't be eligible to run for elected office.
Yeah, boards of manager placements are temporary fixes, right? They are, the purpose is to provide breathing room so that best practices can be implemented to address systematic concerns that led to the appointment. There will be trustee elections that happen required under the law during the course of the appointment. And who runs for those positions is unrelated to who is appointed to serve on the governing team of this Board of Managers. So the elections will continue to happen. The elections will happen kind of in the ordinary course of elections, right? People will run according to their single member districts, as is currently the practice in South San ISD. And the hope is that the 7 members of the Board of Managers that we appointed to serve over the next few years will put in place processes and systems that reflect best practices, and then create these operating procedures or implement these operating procedures to support Dr. Hinojosa in his kind of operationalizing the vision to ultimately address the significant needs for students in the district.
I guess just my concern is that, this isn't the first time there's been state intervention. How are you going to prevent this coming again in another 2 years?
This is the first time in South San ISD that a Board of Managers has been appointed. There are, since the year 2000, there have been only 10 of these Board of Managers appointments in the state of Texas. The state has a really good track record because of the unique way that our system works in the state of Texas in improving student outcomes over the course of a Board of Managers appointments. And so we have confidence that over the next few years, this board will work collaboratively with the superintendent to put into place these sustainable systems and processes that are going to outlast the appointment of the Board of Managers, and that'll continue on into to positively impact elected leadership whenever that return to elected leadership happens.
At what point the state, is looking into something, and at what point decides, you know what, this is it, we had it, we're going to intervene? When does that occur?
Yeah, under Texas law, there are 3 ways that the Texas Education Code, 3 avenues that lead to a potential Board of Managers intervention. In this case, there was an investigation that occurred. The results of the investigation concluded that systematic violations of the law were occurring by the school board, the elected school board. Ultimately, the commissioner made the decision under his power under the Texas Education Code to temporarily replace the elected board with a Board of Managers to provide for that reset, the breathing room necessary in order for new systems and processes to put in place to hopefully ensure that future elected boards do not violate the law in the same way that past boards have.
Can you give us an example of that violation of that law?
And there were really 3 major, or 2 major buckets of violations that the investigation concluded. The investigation report, by the way, is publicly available. It's available on our website, and it documents much better than I will be able to do in the next 10 seconds what all of the legal violations were. But there was just systemic dysfunction that in the activities of individual board members and the activities of the board as a whole. And that was exacerbated by kind of a lack of financial controls that was also found in the report.
A 3-part question on the how long are they in power for? And also you had mentioned trustee elections will continue, but their powers have been suspended. So at what point do they actually become part of it?
Under Texas law, at the 2-year anniversary of the announcement date of a board of managers, so this will be February 19th of 2027, the commissioner is required to make a decision. He has 2 choices under the law. He can either announce a 3-year rollback to elected leadership, which in the case of South San would be 2 trustees in year 1, 2 trustees in year 2, the remaining 3 trustees in year 3. He can announce that at the conclusion of 2 years, or under the law, he can announce that the intervention will be extended for an additional 2 years. Again, if he announces the extension for an additional 2 years, then what the law requires is that on the 4th year anniversary, he announces the 3-year transition back and when that will occur. And so the law is pretty clear about how long these board of managers placements take. To answer the second part of your question, as the elected trustees roll back on, that's when they regain their governing powers, and they kind of recapture what prior to today the powers that they had to participate in the governance of the district.
So those still be trustee elections even when they have suspended powers?
Yeah, this is what the law requires, and the district will absolutely follow the requirements of the law.
And you mentioned the past superintendent, he did a good job, but he's also been replaced. Is there a reason for that?
The commissioner ultimately decided that it was in the best interest of the students and families of South San Antonio ISD for a full leadership reset to provide a complete fresh start when it comes to the leadership and the governance of the district. Again, as Dr. Hinojosa said, and as the commissioner mentioned in I think the quote that was included in the press release earlier today, this intervention is not occurring because of anything Mr. Yazgiri did or did not do. Mr. Yazgiri led this district well and should be commended for his great service to South San Antonio ISD over many years. But we're here today with an incredibly bright future, with a leader in Dr. Hinojosa who has a track record of success, successfully transforming a district very similar to the demographics of South San Antonio ISD, and 7 members of the governing team who are committed to prioritizing student success, who are committed to putting students first, and who are committed to working collaboratively with the superintendent in order to achieve those improved academic outcomes.
How many people applied to be superintendent?
There were 20 applicants to be the superintendent and 57 applicants for the board of managers.
And how will the TEA measure the board of managers' progress over the next few months?
Under the Lone Star Governance Framework, which is the agency's leadership framework for school board members, there is an actual measurable rubric that separated into 4 different domains that we can actually use to measure the progress that the board members are making toward what we will characterize as the governance exit criteria. We'll be able to provide more details here in a few weeks as we formally announce what that particular exit criteria.
So it's not the same that Sevedra used to examine the board over the past, because I know that was also the Lone Star governance, but the exit criteria will be different or the same as that?
Right. I don't remember offhand what Dr. Saavedra used in his exit criteria, but the exit criteria for the board of managers, I imagine will be different, will be more comprehensive, and we will be very clear what the expectations of the board of managers are in order to kind of satisfy what we believe will need to happen to create sustainable systems and processes that will stand the test of time after the return back to elected leadership.
Time for one more. Garrett, wraps up.
You mentioned this is just one of 10 times that the state in the past 24, 25 years has appointed a board of managers where it's had to come in and take control of school district. If you kind of put that into perspective of how bad are things running here that the state has to say.
Yeah, the investigation report goes into great detail over dozens of pages about documenting the systematic concerns and violations of law that led us to the point where we are now. But largely, those were governance concerns. The governance concerns have been removed by the appointment of the Board of Managers. Now the Board of Managers has the task of putting into place systems and processes that are sustainable, that are become baked into kind of the foundation of how the district runs, so that once a return to elected leadership happens, there are best practices that the elected leaders can then follow.
Thanks so much.
Out of these violations of the law, can any of these violations be criminal prosecuted?
I do not know the answer to that question.
So it might be.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We're good. Thank you so much. If you have any other questions, send my shop an email.
2 syllables, P is silent, right?
Leshlo, 2 syllables, P is silent.
Any other
Good to see you again,
questions?
Camille.
Media relations, tea.texas.gov. We'll get you help, get you set up, get you fixed. And thanks so much, Steve. Appreciate you.